Alright lads, it is MetaGoblin here, and today I'm going to give you the best race options for any tanking spec within the game. Now you may want to reroll in Legion, and you may want to reroll to a tank, and I definitely encourage you to do so because it's a very fun and unique playstyle. Now I can't really give you a simple answer for this question because there are about three really good options for each faction, and the difference between these three options is very small. So I'm going to tell you basically these three options, and then you can decide which race that you like the look of the best, because obviously it is quite important to get you don't want to make a race that you don't like the look of. So that's how we're going to structure this video. First of all, let's go through the Horde races, because I know statistically more people PvE on the Horde. That might change in Legion, however, because of fixing the racials. Anyway, the best option for a tank, any spec, okay. Another thing to note is that obviously I might name a race that doesn't, doesn't go with your class, so you got to bear that in mind as well. So the best option is definitely Pandaren. Okay, you might think, whoa, hold up, it's Tauren. It's actually technically not. Okay, the reason why I go for Pandaren, first of all, is because of a double food buff, which is pretty much nearly the same as the Tauren's extra stamina buff. But the thing is, guys, extra stamina isn't really that useful most of the time. It's such a small amount of stamina. What really, because of the food buff, doubled up food buff, right? You can get a food buff in a different kind of stat. Okay, you can get it in mastery, and mastery might be better to stack mastery in your spec to make you more defensive, and that might basically just make things a lot better than just getting a simple stamina buff. Another reason is because of bouncy. There are a number. I haven't done Legion raid and experienced it to its full, but most of the time there will be raid mechanics which basically throw you into the air and force you to take ground damage, falling damage, and there's certain situations in Blackrock Foundry taking down Blackhand that I remember. So there may be a situation where you are taking falling damage, and obviously with bouncy you take less falling damage, which is less damage. So basically it's just a little thing which puts Pandaren basically at the top, and this is obviously the same for Alliance. I'd say the next option, obviously after that, is going to be Tauren. Definitely probably the best for dungeons, because of the War Stomp ratio, which is a very useful stun. That can actually be useful in a lot of raiding situations as well, and obviously because of the extra stamina. And after that, I'm going to say Undead because of the passive healing. So if you don't want to play Tauren, you don't want to play Panda, then go for Undead, because Undead have this passive healing, and it's just a little bit of healing which is going to help you out. If you don't want to go for any of those options, I would after that recommend Blood Elf. The only reason why I'd recommend Blood Elf, the rest of the races don't really have that much of a defensive increase. Maybe Troll does because of the haste increase. So it's either Blood Elf or Troll basically after that. But Blood Elf, the reason why is because of it's Arcane Torrent. Basically, if you rely on some kind of defensive ability which relies on a resource, then you can get your resources up with Arcane Torrent to use that defensive ability. So that might be the difference between life or death. That's the only reason why I'd go for Blood Elf. And then Troll is a little bit better, not a little bit better than Blood Elf. Sorry, it's just a little bit of an advantage, but really that's more of a DPS thing. So for Alliance, we've already said Pandaren. I definitely think Pandaren's probably still the best option here. The next best option is definitely going to be Dwarf. Okay, it's because of Stoneform. Stoneform is very good at negating damage. You can stack this with your other damage reduction abilities, and it can be a difference between life and death in a number of situations. When bosses do a lot of damage to the tank, they have abilities that do massive damage on the tank. You can use Stoneform to negate it. Say if you don't have any cooldowns left, sometimes Stoneform can just be enough to keep you in the game. That's why I'd go for Dwarf over Draenei. Draenei is okay. I'm not going to slag Draenei off. The reason why I don't like Draenei that much is because you're already getting healed in the game, so a lot of the time the heal that you get can be wasted. But the thing is, because it's 5 seconds now, it is useful. It is actually quite a good ratio. But sometimes you do kind of waste it because you don't know when a healer is going to be able to heal you most of the time. Sometimes your health may be pretty low, and maybe the healer is, I don't know, dead. I don't know really, because normally what I find is I pop Gift of Naru, and then all of a sudden my health just goes up to full because the healer's healed me, so it's kind of wasted. But it's still it can be useful if in a situation where healer cannot heal you, in a soloing situation, or basically if the healer is slacking slightly. It can definitely keep you in the game. It is a very useful racial nonetheless, but most of the time, what I'm trying to argue is basically sometimes it very often gets wasted. So that's why I would go for Dwarf to negate big boss damage on the tank, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there aren't really any other options. The rest of the races don't really offer significant well, defensive increase, and those races that I've told you definitely are the races that often provide the greatest defensive increase advantages. So there are your options. Tell me what you think in the comment section. My name is the Metagoblin. Until my next video, ciao.